Hi, thanks so much for joining in. You're watching Ask Profit. My name is Alex Matthew. With me is Mahima Vajrajani, and we're here to take all of your questions on the stock markets. Let's jump straight into where the markets are right now. And in fact, you have a smart recovery from the day's low for the benchmark as well as for the broader markets. In fact, the recovery is as much as 0.8% for the Nifty 50, trading at high point of the day, up about 0.6%. The mid-cap index also trading at the high point of the day. The recovery there is 1.5%. It's trading higher by about 1.3%. The small-cap index is seeing quite a bit of chop and churn. So you've seen right at the end, you've seen a little bit of a deceleration, but it's still trading with gains of about 0.8%. Let's see if the strength continues through the rest of the day. But let me introduce our experts for the day. We've got Nirav Ashar as well as Kush Bora joining in today. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking the time, and apologies for keeping you waiting. I also understand that we've got our first caller of the day. Shankar from Chennai is calling us. Hi Shankar, thanks so much for calling. How can we help you today?
Hello sir, how are you?
Very well. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you sir. I bought the NMDC shares, 2000 shares at the rate of 63 rupees.
Okay.
I want only 6 months period I am ready to hold.
Okay.
So what is the target for this?
What is the target? All right. So
minimum 6 months holding.
Okay. So you bought a significant quantity, and 63 is your buy price. Let me go across to Kush on this one. Kush, what are the prospects here?
Hi Alex. Hi Nirav. I think he's got a good entry price. I know the stock's seen quite a bit of correction already. I think there's a good support zone near the 59 to 60 mark. So my first suggestion, given the quantity that he's already built and given the market setup, my first suggestion would be to keep a stop loss around the 59, 60, that zone. On the way up, from a 6 month perspective, the stock is first facing a resistance around the 65 mark, which is the 20-day moving average. But once past that, I think he could look at the target of 68, and once that is taken out, there is a resistance around the 73 mark. So that's the level that he can look at. So 68 and 73 are the levels that he should look at on the upside, and on the downside, your stop loss comes in anywhere between 59 and 60.
Okay, so we've got the next question. Thanks for that view, Kush. Shubhabrata Saha is writing in from West Bengal, and he's asking about Eicher Motors, and he's bought 70 shares at a price of 5,276. It's a stock that has taken a bit of a battering over the course of the last few trading sessions. The stock is trading higher by about 1% or so. Nirav, I'll come to you. So he's asking whether to average at this juncture and where to put his stop loss. I guess the second part, I'm not sure if you'll have a view, but from a fundamental perspective, would you say that Eicher should be bought? The numbers were a little disappointing.
Well, it's true that the numbers were a bit disappointing, but I think this is a play on premiumization, and I think if one were to take a long-term view or a medium-term view for that matter, I think it remains an excellent bet. So it can be averaged at the current levels. The thing is that at this point of time, the management has decided to sacrifice margins to a certain extent for the sake of growth. So I think the strategy is likely to play out in the medium term. So definitely it makes sense to average even at the current levels.
All right, so that's the view coming on Eicher Motors. We have our next caller lined up. Mahesh from Bengaluru is calling in. Mahesh, a very good morning to you. How can we help you?
Yeah, hello. Hello everyone. I'm holding Goodluck India from a past 1.5 year,
Okay.
and I'm purchased the 300 shares of price 803 rupees.
Okay.
Right now it was 7% loss, but I want to hold this stock for a long-term perspective. So is the right time to pyramid more in this counter?
All right. I'll ask your question straight away to Nirav. Nirav, Goodluck India is the counter. What's the view?
Well, I think it will make sense to exit the counter at this point of time and switch to some more reliable names in the metal space. There are better quality names which can be considered.
Like what? Would you name a few?
I think it'll definitely make sense to go in for a Jindal Steel and Power or a Tata Steel.
Okay. All right. So a stock that is under pressure today, let's pull up Natco Pharma, and this is on the back of numbers which were, let's pull up Natco Pharma if we can. It was a big disappointment, right? And you were waiting for a turnaround that has not come through in the third quarter, and the question mark is, about whether or not this will come through even in the next couple of quarters. We've got Mani, who's writing in from Chennai, who's bought Natco Pharma 200 shares at a price of 980 rupees a piece, and seeing actually it is currently at that price. So the question mark is, would you exit and head off further drawdowns and further losses? I'm going to ask this on the fundamentals because ultimately that is why the stock is reacting. Nirav, what would you say about this? Do you see a turnaround point?
Well, I think this quarter results have been very disappointing, and I think we should wait for the commentary from the management. But I think considering the fact that the results have been so disappointing, that I think we have recommended a few clients to exit the positions and shift to stocks like Piramal Pharma and Divi's Labs.
All right, Nirav, thanks so much for that view. By the way, we have to slip into a very quick break. I know some of you have already called in and you're staying waiting. Thank you so much for your patience. We'll be back very quickly to take your calls. Do stay tuned.
सुना उसके बाद मेरा पहला एक्रोनिम निकाला मैंने, वो था RRR, रिस्पॉन्सिबल, रिफॉर्मिस्ट, और मैंने कहा रिवॉल्यूशनरी। हाउ डिड यू अराइव एट दिस नंबर ऑफ 12 लाख रुपीस?
हमें लगता है टैक्स पेयर उस लेवल नंबर से टैक्स भर रहा है, क्या उनको हम कुछ कर सकते हैं?
प्राइवेट सेक्टर कैपेक्स अभी तक वो इन्वेस्ट क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं, जबकि आपका इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ही बताता है कि वो कैश पाइल पे बैठे हुए हैं।
अगर कंजम्पशन बढ़ता और उसके तहत लगता है कि ग्रेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट का पॉसिबिलिटी है, वो भी अच्छा ट्रिगर हो सकता है।
AI बहुत तेजी से आ रहा है, तो जॉब के चैलेंजेस होंगे, स्किल के चैलेंज पहले से हैं, तो जो ट्रांजिशन पीरियड का स्ट्रगल है, नौकरी मुझे अभी चाहिए।
पूरे साल का एक्सपोजर दिलाने के लिए हम इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम ले आए, और इसके साथ साथ इस बजट में भी ट्रेनिंग फॉर AI इसके लिए सेंटर्स बनाए हैं।
New tax regime for individual. In fact, there has been discussion on how to sort of reduce the tax rate.
I am now happy to announce that there will be no income tax payable up to income of 12 lakh rupees.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Government is considering to increase.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit, a show where we get all your stock-related queries answered, whether they're fundamental or technical. For viewers who are just tuning in, you can either call us or WhatsApp us on the number that's flashing on your screens right now. We have our next caller lined up. Pradeep from Andhra Pradesh is calling in. Pradeep, a very good morning to you. I believe you have a query on Indus Towers.
Yeah, good morning. I am holding Indus Towers since last 2.5-3 months.
Okay.
And my average price is 353.
Okay.
And I am holding 7,500 shares.
Okay.
I can hold it for 2-3 months.
Okay. So Pradeep, when you bought Indus Towers, you saw the charts, I believe.
Yeah, charts and basically telecom, but they are going to pay dividend. That's what I felt. And I bought in that 3% dilution.
Understood.
Done
Understood.
by Voda.
Okay. All right. Kush, since he wants a 2 to 3 months view on the charts, how does Indus Tower fare?
Not bad actually, given the fact that the stock's actually holding ground and consolidating sideways in the market, which has actually seen such a correction. I think this is a fairly good buy, fairly strong buy. However, given the volatility in the market and the stock, my suggestion first would be to keep a stop loss around the 335 mark. Now, on the way up, there is a mild resistance near the 200-day moving average, which comes close to the 360 level. If and when that is taken out, I think the stock will have a good run till 375. So I think you can continue to hold 375 and higher are the targets that you can aim for in the next couple of months. But also keep a fixed stop loss near the 335 mark.
All right. The next question is from Rajaratnam, who's calling us, messaging us from Chennai and asking about IRFC. 2,000 shares bought at a price of 150 rupees per share and looking for a short-term view. Considerable loss being seen despite the fact that the stock is up about 2% at this juncture because of the buy price, which is elevated. Kush, on the charts, what is the view for the short term?
Well, I think there's been quite a bit of selling, in the entire space, in the entire railway space. IRFC is no exception to that. But if you're looking at a silver lining, then there is a positive divergence on the daily setup that is being seen very clearly. Also, for the last 8 to 10 sessions, the volumes on the way down actually have started to slow down a bit. If not dry up, but they've started to slow down. So my suggestion here would be, despite the kind of loss that he's seeing, still continue to hold, keep a stop loss near the low that the stock made yesterday, close to the 119, 120 mark, and hope that the rebound could very well bring the stock to 135, 140 levels. Not sure if he'll make a profit 140, 150 or thereabouts, which is his buying price, but there's a good chance that 135, 140 other levels, perhaps slightly higher also. So somewhere closer to the price, his buying price at a slightly lesser loss is where he can exit. But again, here too, a fixed stop loss near the 120 mark, which was the low of the day yesterday.
Okay, all right. So that's a view on IRFC. We've got our next caller. Murli is calling us from Bengaluru. Hi, Murli. Thanks so much for calling us. How can we help you today?
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
This question is to the fundamental analyst.
Okay.
I bought a Dodla Dairy, 200 shares,
okay,
at 1121.
Okay.
Now it is around 1027. I am incurring a loss of about rupees per share. It means about 20,000 total loss.
Yes, correct.
I am willing to wait for 1 year. And they give me a good result for this quarter compared to last quarter, and they say future looks better.
Okay.
Other expansions, Africa and all coming up in strength.
Right. So you've done your reading, of
course. For 1 year perspective, or you suggest an alternative?
Okay.
Switching over.
Okay, so those are the two options that you're considering: hold or switch. You don't want to add on to your position?
Yeah, I don't want to add on to
Okay,
it.
understood. So then it's a pretty simple question then, Nirav. What is your judgment of the fundamentals of Dodla Dairy, and would you suggest holding on?
Well, yes, definitely it's a hold because I think these dairy stocks have been doing quite well. The margins have been improving, volumes have been improving. And to add to that, I think the icing on the cake is that value-added products have been doing quite well. Most of these listed players are regional players, and they have a very strong presence in their respective regions. So I think Dodla Dairy also fits the bill over there, and very strong tie-ups with the farmers over there too. So I think definitely it's a hold from the current levels with a medium to long-term horizon.
View coming in on Dodla Dairy from Nirav. The next query that we have is on flare writing. Mazmudar is asking this query. He's holding around 336 shares of flare writing, bought at 305 a piece. He wants to know the outlook for this particular company. Since he's not mentioned whether it's a long-term or a short-term, view that he wants. Kush, I'll come to you. Flare writing, how's it faring on charts right now?
Not so great actually. The stock's actually just seen correction ever since it listed somewhere. I think around November of 2023. It's on the way down. Any particular rise that has come about, any meaningful rise that has come about, has actually only seen selling pressure very clearly about below the key averages. I think this one's a very clear exit. So flare writing, despite the kind of loss that he's seeing, I'm afraid it's an exit from a technical standpoint.
Okay. All right, it's an exit on flare writing, and unfortunately the drawdowns are significant despite the gain that you're seeing in the share today. Now, Pradeep from Chennai has made an interesting observation. He says in his history, he has never participated in any bull market, always participated in all bear markets. He's bought Jupiter wagons at a price of 360 rupees and quantity of 800 units, and he is now under, he's seeing a loss to the extent of about 23,000. It's a very simple solution though, Pradeep. If you stay invested long enough, you will catch a bull run. And that's exactly what I told you in chat as well. But let me ask this question to Nirav. Nirav, how does this look? Jupiter wagon, not a specific mention in the budget, but then the view is positive on these rail stocks. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, that's true, but I think the railway stocks have unfortunately hit a speed breaker and started moving in reverse direction. So I think that's where most of the investors have been caught on the wrong foot. Now the timing of the entry in the railway stocks is very crucial, because for those investors who did not catch the story early, we had the valuations run up very fast. And unfortunately, most of the investors entered at a very later stage, and that is what has resulted in the current situation. So I think definitely at this point of time makes sense to hold, but I think patience will be required for the investors before they are able to get a reasonable return on the railway stocks.
Right, so that's the view coming on Jupiter wagons. The next query that we have is from Manohar, who's from Pondicherry. He's asking whether it's the right time to enter ITC Hotels or not, and if not, when would be the right time to enter, because he's looking from a longer term perspective to enter this counter. Nirav, I'll stick with you for this one. What's the view with respect to ITC Hotels?
Well, yes, definitely the most opportune time to enter this sector, and of course this particular script, which is ITC Hotels. If we see the results have been quite strong, the ITC results, they are showing ITC Hotels perform quite well. And I think the expansion plans are likely to play out. We'll see a whole new pedigree of investors also entering into this hotel space with much more focus and more clear capital allocation.
All right, so it's the right time to enter is the view coming in on ITC Hotels, and as Nirav rightly mentioned, the growth that it is penciled in this quarter is quite impressive. We have our next caller, Anand from Hyderabad is calling in. Anand, a very good morning to you. How can we help you?
Good morning, Mahima. Good morning, Alex. I was holding Foseco India,
Okay.
22 shares,
Okay.
4,165.
Okay.
So I wanted to know, can I average it or should I hold it?
Okay.
And I wanted to know more about the fundamentals of this.
Okay, Anand, a very interesting company. I just want to understand as to how you came across this company, because it's engaged into manufacturing of products that are used in metallurgical industry.
Metallurgy.
Yes,
Yeah,
so very
yeah,
interesting company. How did you come across this, and what's the kind of study that you've already done?
Watching the channels, and that's how I got to know this company.
Okay.
And the results were good, and about the metal erosion, they have their product over there.
Right.
So I did a little bit of study over there. It was not going below 4,000 for a long time.
Right.
But during this fall, this year itself, it has gone below 4,000. So that's the reason I was a bit worried. And moreover, the result has not come yet.
Right.
So I saw that the results dates are also not announced yet. So I was like thinking, it has already come down from 5,000 to almost 3,600. Can I go ahead and buy more?
Got your query, Anand. I'll take your query with Nirav. Nirav, if by any chance you have a view on Foseco, it's a comparatively small company with a 2,300 odd market cap. But if you have a view on the company?
Oh, well, yes. Such companies are, if they are there in the portfolio, I think he should not dispose them off. It makes sense to hold these stocks for a longer horizon. The simple reason is that most of these are FEMA companies, and they have a small equity base, virtually zero debt. They tend to have technology leadership. And I think 1 or 2 bad quarters also, there is no problem. One should average also, as a matter of fact. So I think all these companies which fall into the pedigree of Foseco India, or companies like Linde, Ingersoll Rand, or the likes of John Cockerell, I think all these stocks are a must-have in the portfolio, but they should be held with a medium to long-term horizon, without getting panicky if there's 1 or 2 bad quarters.
Interesting. An interesting spot there, and kudos to you for having done your research as well. Let's take the next question. This is from Bhaskar, who's writing in from Hyderabad and asking about Balmer Lawrie. He's bought at levels of 240 rupees and he's holding since September of 2024. The stock is currently at 175. What's the view on the charts, Kush? Would you book losses and move on to something else?
Well, sharp correction, in the last couple of months, that if you see, or maybe a little longer than that. However, even now, if you see, the stock's actually not seen any kind of a, meaningful revival. So for the moment, given the kind of setup that the stock is seeing, and, even the momentum indicators pointing south, for now, it's not a bad idea to exit. Maybe somewhere close to, the 150, 160 mark, a re-entry can be considered. But at the moment, the kind of move that the stock is seeing, on the back of fairly decent volumes, this is an exit.
All right, we've got our next caller. Parvati from Andhra Pradesh is calling us. Hi Parvati, morning. How can we help you today?
Good morning, sir.
Please go ahead.
Actually, I bought 100 shares Shakti Pumps and 12.15 the price rate.
1,215?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was the thinking when you bought it? Did you buy it for the long term, Parvati?
One kind of 6 months to 1 year I hold it.
Okay.
What we will do?
Okay.
I mean, wait or exit.
Okay. Understood. And so, okay. So basically you want to know, and when did you buy this exactly?
I forgot. I mean, I don't know actually. Okay. My husband handled it.
Understood. Okay, let me ask your question to Kush then. Kush, it is at, if I'm not mistaken, let's pull up the intraday chart. Is it at upper circuit right now? Let's pull it up and see. So it is apparently at upper circuit. So no sellers in the stock right now. What is the upside potential? Can she recover her buy price of 1,215? As she pointed out, she's got a 6-month time frame.
Maybe a little longer, anywhere from 9 to 12 months, give herself more time. There's a good possibility then, that she might recover, her loss, or maybe significantly reduce it, if not entirely recover. A couple of silver linings or positives on this is that, the stock starting to see positive divergences on the days when the stock is closing higher. The delivery market volume is also significantly higher. there's a falling trend line resistance that the stock is about to cross just above this 905 mark. So my suggestion would be continue to hold. Positional stop, even now, the kind of levels that the stock is seeing, I would suggest a positional stop near the 850 mark, but continue to hold. Within, I think, about 9 to 12 months, the stock could move significantly higher. As I said, if not profit, could at least significantly reduce the losses that she's making currently.
All right, so that's the view with respect to technicals of Shakti Pump. The stock is up by about 5% as we speak. The next query that we have is from Ashik, who's from Bengaluru. He's holding Reliance Power 3,000 shares bought at 43.7 a piece. He wants to know whether he should currently hold them or sell them. He's sitting on a loss of roughly 11,000 odd rupees. Kush, on the charts, how is Reliance Power faring?
Not so bad. There's a consolidation, and I'll give you a broad range on this one, and that is from 36 on the downside, and on the upside, this 44 or thereabouts. So still holding on to its short-term averages, very close to those levels. Given the market setup, the relative strength is very apparent. So I would suggest continue to hold on to Reliance Power. 37, 36, that zone will now start acting as your stop loss. On the way up, as I said, 44, which is fairly close or just above his buying price, is actually a bit of a resistance, but once that is taken out, you'll need to hold, place a stop loss between 37 and the 36 mark.
All right, so hold is the view coming in on Reliance Power with respect to the charts. The next caller that we have is Srinivas from Bengaluru, who is calling in. Srinivas, a very good morning. How can we help you?
Very good morning. I'm holding this stock called BEL for the last 4 months at 312, average around 1,500 shares.
Okay.
The query is, should I average it because another 2 lakh rupees I have? Should I average it here for 9 to 12 months of time, or should we go to Lemon Tree?
Okay, that's an interesting comparison. Neerav, he's comparing BEL with Lemon Tree because he wants to know whether he should exit the counter. He's sitting on a loss of roughly 71,000 odd rupees. Should he keep holding BEL or book losses and switch to something like a Lemon Tree is his question.
Well, I think BEL has been a slow mover in the markets. I think per se the results have been quite good. We've seen a very consistent performance. We've seen good order book. So I think it makes sense definitely to hold on to BEL for some time. And I think as far as Lemon Tree is concerned, I think there are some other better alternatives which are available in the market. So I think if you are looking at hotel stocks, then I think you could probably look at an Indian Hotels or an APJ Surendra Park Hotels at this point of time.
Interesting. Let's pull up Lemon Tree and see what it's doing in trade today. Remember, it's a stock that we marked in the open because there was a considerable upside that was being pegged. 63%. I remember that correctly. Macquarie has a note out both on Lemon Tree as well as Chalet Hotels. 57% upside seen on Chalet Hotels and 63% upside on Lemon Tree Hotels. Both are up and about, but not considerable upside at this juncture. Let's see if that pans out, and hopefully that answers the question. We've got the next question that we're taking, and this is on DLF. This is Abhishek, who's writing in from Amchi, Mumbai, and he's bought 1,000 shares at a price of 695 for the short term. He's wondering what the prospects are. So he's lost a little bit of ground, not a lot. 687 is the current market price, 695 is the buy price. Kush, what should his strategy be?
Well, I think the saving grace for him right now is the fact that, he's bought it at a price which is not significantly high, close to what the current price is. Now, given the kind of fall that the stock has already seen, some positive divergences emerging, not a bad idea to continue to hold. But again, keep a very strict stop loss near the 660 mark. That's the medium-term support that the stock has. If that is broken, then there's a possibility that it could head lower. So keep a stop loss near the 660 mark. I don't see a meaningful revival in the sense that it might not see a V-shaped recovery and head to those 750, 800 levels that it made in the last swing high. But yes, there could be a technical bounce basis the kind of shorts that the stock has already seen, and hence a short covering rally and a bounce from these oversold territories is quite likely.
All right, so that's the view coming on DLF. We have our next caller, Swapnil from Pune is calling in. Swapnil, a very good morning to you. I believe you have a query on EID Parry.
Correct. A very good morning to you and all.
Good with your query.
So I have brought this EID Parry sometimes 2-3 months back.
Okay.
2950 shares for 843. Currently, I'm losing 6%.
Right.
But I want to see the long-term perspective as they are also getting into the corn-based ethanol and mainly in the sugar. But as government controls those prices after taking that stock, I'm a little worried. What should I do for long-term?
Got it. I got your query, Swapnil. Nirav, I'll come to you. With respect to the numbers, they looked good prima facie. It posted its Q3 earnings day before yesterday. But in terms of what augured the growth was the animal feed business for them and not the sugar and ethanol business, because that was a weak point, which is why we did also see, a downtick in stock yesterday. But what's the view with respect to EID from a longer term perspective?
Well, the view is positive because stocks like EID Parry are portfolio stocks and basically they are not bought for the short term but for long term gains. And we have a very good quality management. It's very well diversified. It's got a presence into sugar, fertilizers, animal feed and a lot of other specialty products in the pipeline. So I think he should keep the faith and hold on to the stock. The sugar story has been under pressure for some time, but hopefully things should reverse going forward. And they also have a sugar refinery. So I think the prospects are quite strong in the medium to long term.
Okay, prospects are strong for EID Parry. Hussain is calling us from Kolkata. Hussain, good morning. How can we help you today?
Sir, good morning. Yes, sir. Sir, I have bought a stock name Hindustan Copper.
Hindustan Copper, yes. Okay.
Okay, and the price is 291 at the price of 379.
Elevated levels. When did you buy this, Hussain?
I still remember during the month of May.
May. Okay, May last year is when you bought it. So therefore you had a long-term view on this and the prospects were looking good for the copper space as a whole, if I remember correctly. What would you want to know today?
Sir, currently I just want to exit.
You want to exit. So you want to know the best price to exit. So you've studied the fundamentals and you see that it's not worth holding for the long term. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. Currently, if I'm going to lose it close to 7 or 8 months, I'm not getting any return.
Yeah.
So yes.
Okay. So all right. So point taken. Let me go across to Kush then on Hind Copper. 231 current market price. Very elevated level. 379 is the buy price. So basically the idea is to recover some of the losses. I don't think the expectation is to recover all of it. What are the strategies that you would employ to sell this stock?
First up, I appreciate the clarity. He's very clear that there isn't too much of gains to be made on this one, and by that I mean profit and loss. That's not to be made on this one. So kudos on the clarity at least. Now the stock is attempting a base formation near the 220 mark. If you see over the last month and a half, 4 times the stock has actually tested that mark and tried to rebound. So give yourself that chance. The answer is actually more from a trading strategy perspective. Combined with the technicals, which is keep a stop loss around the 220 mark. Give yourself some chance. There is a chance of short covering rally on this one as well. Like we discussed for DLF just a while ago, it's seen massive shorting over the last few months. So this could very well see some sort of a revival from those levels. 220 is the level where I will keep my stop loss. On the upside, the numbers that I'm looking at, first is 250. Once that is taken on, you're looking at 275 kind of a jump as well. So that would reduce his losses to an extent. So and the stop loss from here on is not too deep, considering where the stock has fallen since its buying price from. So 220 is the stop loss. Continue to hold for some time, and you could start exiting partially around the 250 and the 275 mark.
Right. So that's a comprehensive view coming in from Kush on Hindustan Copper. The next query that we have is on DAM Capital. Vamsi from Andhra Pradesh is holding 100 shares at an average price of 314. She wants to know whether she should average at current levels, and is it a good fundamental company? Is it a good company fundamentally to keep holding for the next 2 years? Nirav, your view with respect to DAM Capital?
Well, I think it's a good company to hold with a medium to long-term horizon, but I wouldn't recommend averaging at this point of time.
Okay. All right, it's time now to hit the rapid fire segment, and both of you know what this is. We'll spend 2 minutes and we'll toss as many questions at you as possible. Do keep your answers as crisp and concise as possible. The first question is from Zia. Signed DLM is the name of the counter. Bought at levels of 779 on the 26th of August 2024. The stock is down. Would you hold or would you exit? This one's for you, Nirav.
Hold.
All right. Juniper Hotels is the next counter. Nagraj from Hyderabad is holding 40 shares at 360 a piece. Should he hold from a longer term perspective, Nirav?
It's a hold.
Okay. Renuka Sugars. Ajay from Pune wants to know long-term prospects. Bought in September. Average rate is 56. Should you hold or sell? Nirav?
Sell.
RVNL is the next counter. 200 shares bought at 154 a piece. Should the person hold or exit? Your view, Kush?
Hold.
Acme Solar got allocation in IPO. Rajan wants to know hold for the future or not. Nirav?
No, exit.
Ashoka Buildcon is the next counter. 120 shares bought at 239 a piece by Shweta. She wants to know whether she should continue from a longer term perspective. Nirav?
Yes, hold.
Nestle bought at a price of 2673 for the long term. Vinod wants to know, can you hold? Nirav?
Yes, hold.
S. Kumar from Mumbai is holding 10,000 shares of Ujjivan Small Finance Bank bought at 61 a piece. Should he wait or sell at current levels? Kush?
Exit.
CAMS, would you buy at this level for the long term? Is a question from Antriksh. Nirav?
Yes.
All right. Acme Solar. Did we?
Yes.
Okay, we took. Okay. Renuka Sugars is the next counter. 2,000.
We've taken that.
Oh,
PNB, 20,000 shares bought at a price of 109. Short-term view. Kush?
Continue to hold. Keep a stop loss near the 93 mark.
All right. The next counter that we're talking about is Vishnu Prakash R. Pugalia. Surya from Kurnool is holding at an average price of 253. Your view, Nirav, on this one?
Sorry, I didn't get the stock.
Vishnu Prakash R. Pugalia.
I think I'm not...
Okay, Kush, on the charts then?
Exit.
Exit. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Ask Profit, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Nirav, Kush, thanks so much for joining in. Pleasure having you. We've covered quite a few stocks today, and hopefully the stocks that we discussed have benefited you. If we didn't get your question answered, we'll be back tomorrow to take more of your questions, so do stay tuned. In the meanwhile, lots more coming up on NDTV Profit. From Mahima and myself and the team that put the show together, thank you so much for watching.
सुना उसके बाद मेरा पहला एक्रोनिम निकाला मैंने, वो था RRR, रिस्पॉन्सिबल, रिफॉर्मिस्ट, और मैंने कहा रिवॉल्यूशनरी। हाउ डिड यू अराइव एट दिस नंबर ऑफ 12 लाख रुपीस?
हमें लगता है टैक्स पेयर उस लेवल नंबर से टैक्स भर रहा है, क्या उनको हम कुछ कर सकते हैं?
प्राइवेट सेक्टर कैपेक्स अभी तक वो इन्वेस्ट क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं, जबकि आपका इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ही बताता है कि वो कैश पाइल पे बैठे हुए हैं।
अगर कंजम्पशन बढ़ता और उसके तहत लगता है कि ग्रेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट का पॉसिबिलिटी है, वो भी अच्छा ट्रिगर हो सकता है।
AI बहुत तेजी से आ रहा है, तो जॉब के चैलेंजेस होंगे, स्किल के चैलेंज पहले से हैं, तो जो ट्रांजिशन पीरियड का स्ट्रगल है, नौकरी मुझे अभी चाहिए।
पूरे साल का एक्सपोजर दिलाने के लिए हम इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम ले आए, और इसके साथ साथ इस बजट में भी ट्रेनिंग फॉर AI इसके लिए सेंटर्स बनाए।
Entire special package and measures are kind of focused on AI skilling and how to sort of facilitate the AI centers which is existing at this point of time.
Now a center of excellence in artificial intelligence for education.
will be set up with a total outlay of 500 crores.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know Your Company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters